Hi, this is Tim from Latest 3DS Games, and yes, here it is. It's the Nintendo 3DS versus PlayStation Vita showdown. Now I've decided to do this in 3 different parts. First part obviously this week, and then the next part will be next Sunday, and the final part will be the following Sunday after that. So I will reach a conclusion and give you that in the third part and tell you which I think is the best handheld console. So let's have a look. Okay, and what I'm going to do is just let you know the current prices for these two. Now the Nintendo 3DS, maybe not the special edition, but your standard Nintendo 3DS is in the UK around about £135. It's about $170 in the US. Now PlayStation Vita is about, it's hovering around sort of £200 or thereabouts, just over, in the UK at the moment. In the US it's around $250. Okay, so first of all I'll give you an idea what's available for both systems. There's not too many accessories. I'm just giving you a quick example. So the Nintendo 3DS, it does come with a charging dock, and you can get, of course, cases. You can get the newly released Nintendo 3DS Circle Pad Pro, which gives it a similar kind of dual analog function to the Sony Playstation Vita. You can get memory cards and a few other bits and pieces. Now the Sony Playstation Vita has only just come out, so of course it's got things like cases, memory cards available. It has got a charging dock available. Certainly in the US and Japan you'll have no trouble getting hold of one. If you're in the UK or Europe, you'll probably have to either wait a few months, or you're going to have to search online and order it from another country. So that's just a quick idea of what's available for the system. There are a few other bits and pieces, but that's basically it. So next I'm going to give you an idea of the games that are currently available on both systems. Okay, and just wanted to kind of dispel some myths, and really that Nintendo is just aimed at small children, because it's certainly not. And I've kind of just brought a selection of games out. I've got quite a few more, and there's lots more available. Just to give you an example of that, you have of course got the classic Mario games, which I think is where some of the myth has come from. Although if you've actually played a Mario game, you will in fact know just how great they are anyway. But just to give you an example, of course we've got things like Dead or Alive Dimensions, Resident Evil Revelations. Well, they're certainly not aimed at small children at all, and in fact they both come from kind of PlayStation-y backgrounds, really, PlayStation Xbox backgrounds. Certainly Resident Evil came out on PlayStation and originally the Sega Saturn, and it's survival horror, and it's certainly not aimed at small children. And Tales of the Abyss underneath, again that's a PlayStation port, and it's a role-playing game, certainly not aimed at small children. And then we've also got classic, just a few examples. We've got Zelda, again it's not a real small child's game. Star Fox 64, Skylanders is a great game anyway. It's just really, there's a whole host of games available for the Nintendo 3DS, and there's really a massive choice. Whether you're sort of 7 or 17, you really won't lose out. There'll be plenty of games for you to choose on. This is just a few examples, and I'm going to list a few coming out on Nintendo 3DS next. Okay, and now on to PlayStation Vita games, and obviously it's only recently come out, so there are less games available at the moment. Again, I'll list a whole load of games that are coming out soon in this video as well. But just to give you an example, and again just to kind of dispel some myths that this is just for hardcore gamers, for sort of older children, teenagers, and sort of people in their 20s, 30s, 40s. It's not at all. So you can see there are a whole load of different titles available already for PlayStation Vita. So you've got the classic things which you'd associate PlayStation with, like Uncharted, Wipeout 2048. We've got Ninja Gaiden up there as well, Marvel vs. Capcom. But they've got lots of games that, you know, will attract younger players as well. We've got Little Deviants, which is a great little puzzle game. We've also got a conversion of Rayman Origins. We've got Touch My Katamari. And there's a whole host of other games already available and just on their way out. So again, it's not aimed at hardcore gamers at all. So kind of the thing with Nintendo and Nintendo 3DS and PlayStation Vita, although they seem to have assumed markets, it's really, if you look at the software titles available and the games available, then you will see there is something for everyone. So let's move on. Okay, so some of the big titles coming out for Nintendo 3DS this year. We've got Luigi's Mansion 2, and then in a few months' time, not sure of an exact date, we've got Animal Crossing, and then the big shoot 'em up coming out at the end of March for Nintendo 3DS is Kid Icarus Uprising. And that's just a few of the games coming out for 3DS. There's a whole host of them coming out. And then moving on to PlayStation Vita, we've got Unit 13 coming out in a few weeks' time. And then another big release coming out is Little Big Planet. Again, not too long, couple of months or so. And there's a whole load of PlayStation Vita's games coming out this year, including a very popular title franchise, which is Resistance: Burning Skies. Okay, so game prices. Now these are obviously the full recommended retail prices, so you can find them at different prices obviously around the internet. But this is kind of how they've been set out. So Nintendo 3DS games, like something like Resident Evil Revelations in the UK, it's going to cost you around sort of £35, something like that. It's going to cost you around sort of $40 in the US, something like that. Now, with the 3DS, most of the games come out at full price. There are some cheaper ones that come out, but generally there's a lot out which are around the sort of £35 mark, something like that, full price, $40 or more in the US. Now, with the PlayStation Vita, you've got Golden Abyss, which comes out at in the UK something like £40. It's around $50 in the US. But what they've done is they've brought out a kind of different pricing strategy. So they've kind of got three tiers. So you've got like Uncharted at £40. Then you've got something like Marvel vs. Capcom at £30. And then you've got something like Little Deviants coming out at about £20. So you've got three definite different kind of price levels. And in the US that equates to around $50 for Golden Abyss, about $30 for Little Deviants, and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom would be about $40. So they've definitely got a different kind of pricing strategy as well. Now, for both systems you can get games downloaded from Nintendo 3DS, obviously from the eShop, and the PlayStation obviously has the PlayStation Sony shop, and you can download titles from there. Now, I have noticed already with PlayStation Vita you can get some very good games for a very reasonable price on there as well. And with the Nintendo 3DS eShop, it does tend to be kind of not sort of full titles as opposed to kind of older titles, DSiWare, things like that. So we're just going to have a quick look at both machines side by side. First of all, you can see the size difference, and a lot of people go on about portability, etc. Sure, the Nintendo 3DS is slightly more portable and easier to carry around. There's not an awful lot in it. It has, of course, got the classic protection of a clamshell design, so you're never going to be in too much danger of breaking your screens, in theory. So obviously those are the two major kind of differences between the two. The PlayStation Vita, of course, has got the much bigger screen, and you can compare, when you're comparing the two, obviously you can actually see compared together it's almost, I would say it's like twice the size pretty much. So that's your top screen on the 3DS compared to the PlayStation Vita screen. Now I'm just going to have a quick look at them in you know, one by one in a bit more closer detail, and then next week what we're going to do is we're going to obviously look at all the functions available and the unique features of each system. Okay, so this is the PlayStation Vita first we're going to go for, and it's got the two thumb wheels, it's got a cross pad of course, it's got the four familiar PlayStation icon keys, reset or start button, whatever you want to call it. Oh sorry, the start button's down there, but this will take you back to the home page, or home button if you like, and it's got your thumb controllers as well, and it all is in a very small portable package. You've got your accessory ports there for charging and for putting your headphones in. At the back you've got your slot for your game cartridge. You've got your volume control, which is two buttons as opposed to a kind of slider on the Nintendo 3DS, and you've got your power switch as well. And it's just a really nicely built system. If we turn it over you can see that of course it's all touchscreen. But the unique feature about this is it's a touchscreen on the back, and we'll go into that in more detail next week. So that's the PlayStation Vita. Straight on into the Nintendo 3DS. It's the clamshell design of course. Got a cross pad, and you've got a thumb wheel here as well. You've got your familiar four buttons there, with a home button, start button, select button, power button. Now with 3DS you get your volume slider on the side, and on the other side we've got our, of course, unique feature, which is the 3D slider. And again there's like a headphone socket in the front, and if we flip it over, cartridge, as you can see, slots in the back along with the charger, and it just sits on its dock. Again, the PlayStation Vita, as I mentioned earlier, does have a dock. So that's those two. Just looking at them again, they're just weighing them up. I haven't got the exact weights, I might put it on the video. PlayStation Vita is slightly heavier, obviously slightly bigger to carry around, but there's not a lot in it. Obviously you've just got the exposed screen. I've got a screen protector on mine, but then I've got a screen protector on my 3DS, but it does have the clamshell design. Okay, so that's the end of part one. Now I'm going to be doing a full in-depth look at both consoles next week, and we're going to be looking at all the functions on both consoles and just looking at each of their unique features. So this has been Tim at Latest 3DS Games. Thanks for watching.